Of an alleged armed male in the area. HPD responded to a call near Dole Middle School and Kauai Elementary at around 8:15 this morning. The Education Department said the incident happened at a park next to Dole Middle. Now, the lockdowns were called off at around 9:30 after officers determined that the area was safe. HPD arrested the possible suspects for truancy. No firearms or weapons were found. Financial markets plunged around the world after President Trump's announcement of new tariffs on U.S. imports. On Wall Street, it was the worst day since the year 2020. Erica Brown has more details from the White House.
Markets tumbled as nervous investors reacted to President Trump's sweeping new tariffs. The Dow dropped about 4%, but the president said things are going well.
The markets are going to boom, the stock is going to boom, the country is going to boom.
Trump previously acknowledged there may be some temporary pain as a result of new tariffs, but says they are necessary to bring manufacturing back to the U.S.
We're up almost to $7 trillion of investment coming into our country, and you'll see how it's going to turn out. Our country's going to boom.
And across the board, 10% tariff on all imports is set to begin Saturday. Then added reciprocal tariffs start next week. The administration's 25% tariff on all foreign vehicles and auto imports kicked in at midnight. Canada, one of America's largest trading partners, says it's retaliating against the auto tariffs.
By matching the U.S. approach with 25% tariffs on all vehicles imported from the United States that are not compliant with CUSMA, our North American Free Trade Agreement.
And car maker Stellantis says as it continues to assess the tariff impact, the company will lay off roughly 900 U.S. employees, at least temporarily, and is pausing production of facilities in Mexico and Canada. Erica Brown, CBS News, the White House.
Meanwhile, it's not clear when the impact of the tariffs will hit our local economy. The Hawaii Automobile Dealers Association says auto dealers don't expect car prices to go up immediately. National statistics show the average price of a car is $50,000 and show that the new tariffs could increase prices from $2,000 to $10,000 per car. Consumers we talked to had mixed reactions.
All the prices are going up in the grocery store alone. It's amazing how much everything is costing now.
But I'm all for bringing manufacturing back into the United States, creating more jobs. I know it's long term. We're going to feel some pain short term.
Even U.S.-made vehicles are expected to get more expensive because many of their parts are made from outside the U.S. New at noon, Hawaii Volcanoes National Park has released body cam video of an officer-involved shooting last month. The incident happened on March 4th at around 6 p.m. After an hours-long manhunt, Hawaii County Police found suspect Isaiah Forshey armed with a gun near the Namakani Paio campground. Now, he was accused of shooting at his ex-girlfriend's father and later killing her sister in Mountain View. The search ended with officers shooting and killing Forshey. Now, the incident is under investigation. The FBI is involved since the shooting happened on federal property. A grand jury indicted Keone Brown yesterday for the murder of his neighbor, 81-year-old Lola Lobo, in the driveway of her home on Olu Street in Hilo on Saturday. The motive is still unknown. Wednesday's indictment says Brown qualifies for an extended prison term if convicted because Lobo was elderly. Kauai police arrested a man who allegedly stabbed someone in the Kapa'a area. We're told it happened yesterday around 8:40 a.m. at the Kapa'a Shopping Center parking lot. That's when 76-year-old Ivo Miller allegedly stabbed a 75-year-old man with a knife. He was taken to the hospital in stable condition. No word on what led up to the incident. Miller was arrested for terroristic threatening in the first degree and assault in the first degree. His bail is set at $100,000. Well, despite a consensus that change is needed, a push for new child protection laws is losing momentum. Stricter penalties for abuse are still in the works, but as Ben Kateris tells us, another key goal of child advocates has stalled.
A high-profile bill that would have allowed foster children to have their own legal representation failed to pass in this year's state legislature. It's unclear why that happened, but child welfare advocates are still pinning their hopes on other measures that are still moving forward.
I'm disappointed that advocates for youth and children didn't go forward this year.
The bill would have looked at allowing foster children to have their own legal representation, which 30 other states already have. Right now, a court-appointed attorney serves a different purpose.
Usually the lawyer that's assigned to them is their guardian ad litem that represents the best interests of the child. And that's sometimes different from what the child wants themselves.
According to supporters, some youths felt they were given no information about their case and were disregarded when they reported they were not safe.
With strong advocacy, we could have better accountability. And also that people and children need to know and understand their rights.
The measures that are still moving forward are aimed at preventing tragedies well before they happen. A bill making torture a Class A felony was passed by the House Judiciary and Hawaiian Affairs Committee Wednesday.
Right now, for things that don't leave a mark, bodily injury, things like starvation, dehydration, electrocution, it is currently not something that can be criminally prosecuted until the child is dead.
Which is the case in the death of 3-year-old Sarai Perez Rivera. Janae Perez and her girlfriend, Ashley Utley, are accused of killing the girl through starvation and dehydration, and also starving and abusing her siblings. Lawmakers are also considering an intervention pilot program to identify at-risk families to keep them out of the child welfare system in the first place. And they're checking out contingency plans as federal support for child welfare programs are being slashed.
Child Welfare Services, which is a part of the Department of Human Services, receives a very large amount of federal funding. If our state doesn't make this investment, frankly, we are going to see more tragedy, loss, and harm, and it's urgent.
Ben Gutierrez, Hawaii News Now.
A bill that would create tougher penalties for TRO violators is advancing at the state capitol. Jail terms for first-time offenders of temporary restraining orders would go from 2 days to 5 days, and the minimum fine would increase to $300. Those with felonies and repeat offenders would face even more, but judges could suspend sentences if the offender completes a court-ordered program. Lawmakers were inspired by the tragedy of Teresa Cachuela, who was killed by her estranged husband back in 2023. Her mother was at the Capitol as the House passed the measure yesterday.
It's not for ourselves. It's something bigger than ourselves. And I never just wanted to be only in honor of Teresa, but also with past and most recent deaths in honor of all of them.
I would far rather have someone stay alive and be safe than worry that perhaps we have too many people sitting in a jail cell.
The State Public Defender's Office warns the changes will make the TRO system more susceptible to abuse by false accusers seeking retaliation and could back up the court system. The bill is expected to move through conference committee and head to the governor for his signature.
Happy Thursday, everybody. Almost to Aloha Friday. Of course, we've been talking about that cold front that's going to get closer to Kauai and Oahu today and tomorrow. Really, the front's going to stall over Kauai. You can see it right there and draw it out where the clouds are. Let's zoom in a little bit closer to the Garden Isle. You can see some showers just offshore to the south and likely a few showers over the northern portions of the island as well. The Kauai radar is typically blocked by the Mauka areas on the island. A little bit closer, not much going on in the southern portions of Kauai. Moving over to Oahu. A few showers over near Wahiawa, and we're likely going to be seeing scattered showers throughout the rest of today. Maui County, relatively quiet. That's true over Hawaii Island as well. Maui County and Hawaii Island aren't going to be seeing as much rainfall from this event. Hour by hour, 83 degrees outside right now, southerly winds, but that's going to change as this cold front gets closer. Breezy trades will return this weekend. I'll give you the breakdown on that coming up.
Thank you, Drew. You might want to check your driver's license. May 7th is the deadline to get a real ID to be able to travel domestically. Chris Van Cleve has more on what you need to know.
Folks, make sure you have your documents out ready to go.
It's an all-out effort to beat the clock that has lines out the door in Chicago. With only about 33% compliance statewide, Illinois opened this first-in-the-nation Real ID Supercenter last month in an old Walgreens location. It's processing about 1,500 people a day.
Come on around. All that empty space over there.
Starting May 7th, you'll need a real ID to get into government buildings and through airport security. What made you come in today?
Because I have a trip coming up May 10th, so I want to get it out the way.
I had to get the real ID because I work in a government building, and I guess we can't get in without that.
This really is an effort to make up for lost time in Illinois. They want to move people through in about an hour from document check to photo to paperwork processing to checkout. But that real ID will come in the mail in about 2 weeks. That's why time is running out. Congress mandated the switch to Real ID after 9/11.
Can you see your ID for a second?
The new IDs are more secure and harder to counterfeit. After lengthy delays, the deadline is now just weeks away.
We are told that it's going to happen.
TSA spokesperson Patricia Mancha.
Everybody is responsible for presenting the proper travel documents when they come to the checkpoint.
What happens if people don't have a compliant ID on May 7th?
Well, there's going to be a phased approach of enforcement, but people will experience travel delays.
Getting one means a trip to the DMV. Typically, you'll need a valid ID, passport, or birth certificate, proof of your social security number and date of birth, plus 2 items proving state residency. The deadline for enforcement is May 7th, but you'll still be able to get a real ID after that deadline. The TSA has not laid out what that phased enforcement will look like, but if you have a passport or an active military ID, those will also work in the meantime. Chris Van Cleve, CBS News, Reagan National Airport.
Ahead on This Is Now, a new contender enters the bidding war to buy TikTok as this Saturday's sell or shut down deadline approaches. Plus this.
Spring is here, and as the flowers bloom, a changing planet is changing plants. I'm Bradley Blackburn with how gardeners and scientists are adapting.
Welcome back. Only on Hawaii News Now, the city will be issuing a notice of violation after an illegal discharge of wastewater was caught on video by our cameras. We were there last week as liquid was seen pouring out of a roll-off truck into a storm drain in Aina Haina. Now that prompted an investigation by the city and state. Now a notice of violation will be issued to Oahu operator HTM Contractors.
If rainwater goes into the dumpster and a hauler is paid to pick up the dumpster, they're responsible for discharging that water in a proper way, not into storm drains.
In a statement, HTM contractors said, quote, while the dumpster did contain rubbish, no hazardous or industrial waste was involved. This was not an intentional discharge, but rather a result of collected rainwater being released during normal loading and transport. We take environmental concerns seriously, and we are reminding our team to take extra precautions when moving dumpsters that may have retained water. Well, another deadline is fast approaching for the social media site TikTok. A new bidder has also entered the picture, Amazon. Wendy Gillette has more.
Some of you really need to hear this. The deadline for TikTok to change its ownership is Saturday. The Trump administration says it's confident a deal will be worked out in time, avoiding a possible TikTok shutdown for 170 million users in the U.S.
I think that we're in a good place. We're going to keep on working at it.
CBS News has confirmed Amazon has expressed last-minute interest in buying the company, joining other contenders including Blackstone and Oracle. The White House says TikTok needs to separate from its Chinese parent company ByteDance to keep users safe.
You want to make sure that the TikTok app in the United States is not spying on people. Right. That's good for national security. You also want to give people access to this incredible platform.
Congress passed a law last year to force the sale of TikTok, upheld by the Supreme Court. President Trump delayed its enforcement to allow more time to work out a buyer. But some lawmakers warn TikTok's ownership is not the only potential problem.
If we've got a result and the algorithm resides in Beijing, it is all a sham.
President Trump held a meeting Wednesday in the Oval Office about the sale. Wendy Gillette, CBS News.
Spring is now here, and as the flowers bloom, it's a reminder that plants are adapting to a changing planet. The EPA says leaf and bloom events are happening earlier in the year across much of the country. Bradley Blackburn has more.
The Philadelphia Flower Show has displayed the wonders of Mother Nature for nearly 200 years. With Blue Ribbon Awards for plants in every size, shape, and color, it's the largest and oldest flower show in the world. And this year, the massive displays imagine gardens of the future that will be shaped by a warming planet.
Gardeners observe how the environment changes almost before anybody else.
With warmer global temperatures, the growing season is getting longer by more than 2 weeks compared to the early 20th century. But it's not necessarily good for plants.
Really overwhelming for most species to try to adapt to and keep up with.
Eve Bowery with the New York Botanical Garden says it's already fueling harmful invasive plants.
We're starting to see with climate change more of a turnover from native diverse ecosystems to sort of monocultures of invasive species.
One recent report found 45% of the world's flowering plants are at risk of extinction.
But home gardeners can help by planting native species and protecting them.
Gardening, I think of as a superpower that lets you actually shape the environment. We talk about the idea of choosing your plants with intention and thinking about your garden as part of an ecosystem.
Science has a role too. Students at the University of Delaware showing how plants can go from lab to trial garden.
Seeing what works best where.
To test what will survive in new conditions.
With this kind of testing, you can adapt and change plants to be more humid and more heat tolerant.
Generations who may help generate plants that will grow into the future. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, Philadelphia.
Walk you through our first alert forecast. We're still seeing foggy skies and rain from that cold front.
First Alert Weather with Drew Davis.
Well, episode 16 of the Kilauea eruption saw towering lava fountains. Lava covered over 50% of Halemaumau's floor. The USGS says this episode lasted just over 37 hours before ending at about noon yesterday. The winds dumped Pele's hair and tephra on parts of Highway 11 and enclosed areas of the national park. The tephra blanket in some places was more than 5 feet thick. Kilauea is now quiet again, but we could still see some more fog. Fog is actually going to get a little bit better as we're going into the weekend. We've got foggy skies expected throughout Friday and parts of Saturday, but the trade winds are set to return, all because of this cold front that we've got out there going forward. Just taking an overall look at the weather pattern, I want to walk you through what we're seeing out there. We've got that cold front. This is going to stall over Kauai throughout Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, really parts of Monday as well, bringing trade winds back and a couple of windward showers. The trades are set to return this weekend. East-northeasterlies between 15 to 20 miles per hour expected out there. Some areas could see wind gusts a little bit stronger than that. Your island by island forecast for Aloha Friday over on Kauai. We've got showers likely, cloudy conditions, and breezy conditions as well. You'll notice some cloudy conditions on the windward portions of the island. That's true on Oahu as well. Mostly cloudy, east-northeasterlies between 10 to 15 miles per hour, gusting closer to 20. Partly sunny over portions of Maui, 85 in Kahului, still a little bit hazy out there, 85 in Kihei as well, 85 in Kona, so still warm out there, even though we're seeing a little bit more cloud cover and drier conditions because of the return of the trade winds. And boy, I know a lot of people are excited about the trade winds returning, especially with how hot and humid it's been out there over the past couple of what seems like weeks. Our first alert fog forecast, like I mentioned, foggy skies are still expected going forward, but as you notice, as we're going to Saturday, this is around Saturday at 3 a.m., the overall fog plume moving off to the west and southwest, still light haze out there over Kauai, Oahu, portions of Maui County, and of course areas just downwind of Hawaii Volcanoes National Park, still seeing the highest concentration of fog out there. Our first alert futurecast, you can draw out where that front is just blanketed over Kauai, really not impacting Maui County and Hawaii Island very much as we're going forward. Still seeing a couple of showers over Oahu, and showers are likely over Kauai over the next couple of days. So just tracking a better chance for rain over the Garden Isle and maybe a few showers making their way towards Oahu. We're going to be drying out slightly throughout the beginning of next week. Your surf and shoreline forecast, north-facing shores around 2 to 4 feet, west-facing shores 1 to 3, small in town, east-facing shores around 2 to 4 as well. Your first alert radar and satellite. Just a quick look at what we've been seeing. Just a few showers out there because of this front that's out there. You can really draw out where it is in the clouds. Kauai, relatively quiet, but a few showers possible on the northern portions of the island as well. We're actually seeing a pop-up shower over near Wahiawa right now. Maui County and Hawaii Island, relatively quiet as of now. Your first alert 7-day forecast. Mahalo to Ed for sending this photo in. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we've got showers scattered across mostly the western parts of the state. Still a little bit hazy today and still warm going forward.
Thank you, Drew. Well, still to come, an incredible year-long journey. A Minnesota quintuplet considered to be one of the tiniest babies ever born is finally going home from the hospital. That's coming up in today's Good News Now. Some good news now. Well, the birth of quintuplets is already a rare event. Now imagine the smallest of the 5 weighing just 8 ounces.
One baby boy got home just in time for his first birthday. Uba Ali shares his story of resilience and care.
Hi, Bilal. Are you going home today?
When you look at Bilal, you see a baby with an oxygen mask.
Are your brothers and sisters coming today?
What you don't see is his struggle to survive. To truly understand the miracle of Bilal, we have to go back in time to a year ago.
It's an extraordinarily rare phenomenon.
The quintuplets, born at 23 weeks, was more than just rare. It made their survival unlikely. The biggest weighing in at just a pound, the tiniest, Bilal, at 8 ounces.
Second smallest baby in the world, described in this tiniest baby registry.
For the team at Children's Minnesota, Bilal's case was historic. Dr. Thomas George, the medical director of neonatology, says the odds of all 5 surviving was around 10%.
The kids overcame extraordinary odds.
You can see in these photos just how tiny he was, hooked up to machines in the NICU.
I didn't think he was going to make it. We were living by the hour, and by the grace of God, he is here.
For years, Hawa Muhammad dreamed of being a mother.
I was always hopeful I'd be a mom. God finally gave me 5.
Her miracle babies now finally all together under one roof. As she takes the last baby home exactly a year to the day after she welcomed them into the world.
Thank you.
Uba Ali, CBS News, Minneapolis.
8 ounces, Drew.
That's incredibly small. I'm glad he's finally coming home.
I know. It's going to be a great first birthday.
Yep.
All right. We want to take you outside for one last look before we say goodbye. A little cloudy out there, but we have some nice weather in store for today. More news first at 4 right here on KHNL. Mahalo for watching.